Welcome back, Blade fans. This old sword is with you once again, and I thought of entitling this video, Hades Never Looked So Good, because this is like the third copy of the Damn Designs Hades that I have, and came from White Mountain Knives. They're going for about 80 bucks. They've upped their game with both titanium, not on this one obviously, and steels. They've been using 14C 28N, they've been using 154, and they've been using S35, so on some of those upper end titanium ones. This one's obviously a green G10 or natural jade G10 handle. And here's how this is the change they made. Here's the original. The original as I received it well over a year ago from Amazon when these were being sold on Amazon. Now the difference is pretty obvious. You have a long slot for an opener along with the flipper. You do still have the same polygonal handle. I think that's what I meant to say. You have a stonewash on this one. On this one, you have a satin finish. However, they did also make it with this heavy stonewash and a green G10 handle in the earlier model. So, I'm going to bring this back for comparison. But it's a great fidgety knife at this point. You have the finger flick opening. You have thumb flick opening. You have a thumb roll opening. And you have the flipper tab opening. Very nice stonewash finish. There's your little Damn Design horns logo. Their hexagonal pivot. And plenty of weight relieving. As it stands now, it's a very well balanced blade. Not sure I like this configuration. I'm going to need to keep bringing the old one out for compare. We have, wasn't sure. We have the same belly, but we have a higher blade because they've needed to make a provision for the slot. So it's a higher, wider blade. Still ergonomically much more comfortable than you would think. These angles don't dig into you or hurt you. These angles provide a very excellent grip. The way that tapers there for your last two fingers, and the way you've got the swale there for the first two fingers. And you may end up on that hump there. It is not, believe me, a big deal whatsoever. They do a fantastic job with the stonewash, and I was guessing at the steel before. It is 154 cm. So they're using a variety of 14C, 154 cm, and S35VN. Effective jimping, file-like as I like to call it, close together, but grippy jimping. You're not going to slide on that. Not usually a hole opener, thumb hole opener type of person, but this is very well made. About a 4mm blade stock. You've got an interesting provision there for the lanyard that has changed. It's farther forward now. Look at that. So it's basically a cutout in the backspacer. Backspacer looks like black G10. You have a filler there for the hole that would be milled out in the scale for the left side carry. And since it is milled out, interestingly, it's probably covering, that one screw is covering over the other screw hole, because we definitely have two screws here that, look at that, disappear below the surface of the handle. So they can use button top screws and give you a pretty good, looks like a T8, but at the same time not interfere with the fabric of your pants or your waistband or your pack or wherever you might store this. Drop shut action. Look at that. Very, you want a fidgety knife. This is definitely a fidgety knife. And the deep carry is actually a teeny bit below the end of the handle. A little bit of snail trails there. I haven't carried it yet, so it must have come to me that way. But when you put a Stonewash on steel, that's kind of what you get. Well, let's not put it down because we're going to measure it out. And it's going to have the same dimensions that I did on the previous review of this knife. We're going to call that 8 inches. Just, yeah, tiny bit less. And like 3.3 inches to the handle and 3.5 on the cutting edge, which is what really counts. In inches, the handle, 0.56. The blade stock, 0.15. Millimeters, 3.8. Weight, let's see what we got. 4.85. Respectable. It's definitely a solid knife. I don't think it's going to weigh you down. I don't think it's too wide, even though it's a little over half an inch. It is a sculpted, contoured, with those chamfers on the edges, handle. I like the way the Jade G10 almost looks like GID, like glow in the dark. And of course, with it being a natural G10, you can make that any color you want with your RIT dye. You won't be struggling with it. It will come pretty easily. I think probably anything but white. But then again, I'm not sure. Nice clip that has no swedge on it. So everything is flat, spine is flat, and it is very piercy. Look at that. While at the same time having a really deep belly on that, an even one. You know, if you're like rock cutting, not cutting rocks, but you're rocking that blade doing food prep or whatever, you've got a pretty decent edge there. And it is high and flat ground. They don't do hollows on these to the best of my knowledge. Let's take another look at that. I'm pretty sure, yeah, that is a flat grind. Feels great in the hand. Feels really, really good. And you know, a lot of people don't like the fillers that they put in there. I think it's fantastic. I mean, you're not going to get any dirt in there. You want to take it out and switch the clip over. You can. Plenty of spring. And because you've got such a wide hole, you can engage it there, or you can engage it up here. You can finger flick it here. You can finger flick it here. And the detent's just about right for that. Can't shake it out, at least not with one hand here in front of the camera. Simple flat pivot and T8 over here. Should be a T8. That's interesting. We're going to check. Trusty CRKT driver out of brass, beautiful thing, with a T8 in place. Let's see what we got. Okay, well, fooled me. That is a T8. And these are T8s. Sometimes the surface of that opening can fool you, and also the type of screw, but they're all T8s. Tiny bit of slop with my particular driver, but that could just be the driver. It's one of those 1/4 inch shank jobs with a T8 on the other end. Quick compare with Griptilian. Griptilian, boy, if it's longer, it's not by much. Rat 1, I suspect, will be and is about an inch longer. Another look around. Good solid knife for 80 bucks. Of course, you're going to get $8 off with my 10% discount at White Mountain. And that is Old Sword. We'll get you 10% off. Beautiful Stonewash. Can't rave about their Stonewash job enough. And they do a fantastic job on their titanium handles as well. 154 cm, 80 bucks, and a good solid EDC, whatever you want to use it for. Tactical, defensive, whatever. There you have it. That is the Dam Designs Haiti new model, revised model, whatever you want to call it, 2022 model. This Old Sword, signing out. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe.